brain slews, slick with ectoplasmic juice. Ecstatic energy, a fire that fuels our memory. What genealogy with spiritual topography? Questions for your answers, your data necromancers.
32 minutes.
Check out.
Good evening.
Oh, I'm so thirsty. Can you hear me drinking?
Good evening. Dude, shout out Tara Smith. I kind of want to know more about what you're up to. Truck driving and cooking and motorcycle riding sounds right up our fucking alley, man. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, like, pull up, come through.
I want to give Tara a free sticker. How you can't message us on YouTube? You fucking
There's
boomer.
no direct messages, huh?
I don't think so. No,
That's wild.
You could comment.
That's good, but don't put your address in a comment.
No, don't do that. We'll figure something out. Tara, if you've got, email us at cosmicturd, TURD 69.
CosmicTurd69 at gmail.com. Or visit us in a dream.
And tell us your address, and then I'll try to wake up and write it down.
Yes.
And we'll get you a sticker. We've got stickers in.
Hello, we have stickers. Have you ever heard of them?
Shout out Birdo. Birdo, do you have Birdo's address? No.
I think I might have it from Rubbish Cook.
Okay, Birdo needs a sticker. I got Spencer's sticker.
Let's go.
Okay.
I have his too.
We should have like a council of elders, MAWPOD elders.
Dude,
Tara
it's
will be
already
one
in
of
the
them.
spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is built and they are at the top.
We are coming to the table with 3 topics. I have 1.5. Megan,
I only have one so far.
It's probably enough to fill.
I also wrote the phrase glibness is your sickness, so I wasn't sure if you wanted to like expound upon that.
Is being glib, what is being glib? Like cheeky or?
No, I think being glib would imply that you have no real knowledge about a subject that you're like pretending to have knowledge about. But the first place I heard the word glib was that Tom Cruise thing where he was being interviewed by Matt Lauer, I think, and maybe they were talking about Scientology. Tom Cruise was like, Matt, you're glib, you don't know what you're talking about, you're glib. And it's just like burned into my brain.
I've never seen that, and I want to see that because Tom Cruise freaks me out.
Yeah, like the intensity with which he was like, you're glib. I was like, whoa, glibness is your sickness, bro.
Have you ever gone down the Val Kilmer Instagram rabbit hole?
What does that mean?
Val Kilmer, who was a total beastly babe back in the 90s.
Big time.
And I watched a documentary about him, like fucking prolific acting skills.
Yeah.
Like got in the game really young, just crushed it, really, he's so talented. I think he got some sort of throat cancer and his religious beliefs stopped him from seeking medical treatment.
No.
So he has like a voice box, and there was, before he kind of had this immersion into the public light, I found his Instagram like 2 years ago, and it was mostly like him in the bathtub with the voice box, in the voice box era, recapping or like redoing scenes of him in Tombstone while he was taking a bath. And
Doc Holliday, I think, was his character.
I've not yet begun to defile myself.
Is this heaven? There was just so much to get weird about there. But now he's in, there was another Top Gun. I have no idea. I only know because
Oh yeah, Top Gun 2. Was he in that?
Yam told me that the motorcycle sound that they synced up with the motorcycle wasn't the right one, and I was like, I don't understand.
Nerd. Respectfully.
Respectful. Nerd alert.
It's funny because, well, it's not funny. I'm sorry, Val Kilmer, that you're ill. I'm very sorry. But Doc Holliday was ill too in the movie.
Yeah.
Like he had tuberculosis, right? And he was like always doped up on opium.
That's the sound of tuberculosis coughing.
He sounds like a mobster. Good old Murph. That's very sad about Val. I always think about Batman when I think about him.
Oh, fuck yeah. Who's the best Batman? Go.
I almost said Tim Curry, but that's wrong.
Wait,
He's the best Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Ah, yes.
I was gonna say Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton is a good one. Okay, so I didn't know.
Were you gonna pick Christian Bale?
No. I think Val Kilmer is one of my favorites. George Clooney too. Just like
No.
all of the '90s Batmans were so good in their own fucking way.
The George Clooney iteration, their chest plates had
on his
nips.
suit. Dude, I remember when what's his name? Chris O'Donnell first flashed across the screen when I was like 9. I was like,
Fucking kill me. Take me away.
I think that was no. Mark Hamill was my first, and then
as Luke.
second crush was.
For some reason, I thought Mark Hamill was attractive too, but like looking back,
Yeah,
it's
you're like,
you were just thirsty as fuck as a kid.
Dude, could you imagine having all the innards to make a brain and like have no idea what's happening?
No idea. Like it doesn't. The timeline that our bodies are set up on does not allow for our like a sense of desire to transgress and like sin and fuck shit up.
I don't know how any of us have made it this far.
I think about it a lot.
No guidance. It was like the last vlog I made. I was like, yo, none of us have anybody to go to.
It's like we gotta start at ground zero every time we make a new person. What's that about? Why can't we just like have a download and then go from there? I guess that's why we have to educate ourselves.
Oh, speaking of educate, I was watching Graham Hancock's Ancient Apocalypse on Netflix.
I haven't seen it yet.
We're big Graham Hancock fans. In this household, I grew up with my dad being like, archaeologists are wrong! You know, just very punk rock, right? Because if you look at it, there's one thing, there's ideologies that popped up in 1890 and then again in 1940, and then that was religious law. And criticism is good and skepticism is healthy, but cynicism is extremely dangerous. And a lot of these timelines were dogmatic. Like you worship them or you didn't. And it's like, man, you guys are scientists and you're not even going to speculate. It's very strange. So Graham kind of goes down on like specific, gets evidence in other scientists. He's not a scientist himself, but he's an investigative journalist, which is kind of who you need to shed light on stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly, because they're not afraid of asking questions that sound stupid.
And he thinks of the picture as a whole. He's a holistic thinker, which is so fucking important when it comes to archaeology.
Yeah, no shit. You can't just like pick up a piece of pottery and know anything about a culture or people or anything like that.
Yeah, and he was talking a lot too about all the there's like 90% of Native American archaeology sites have been destroyed.
By whom?
Oh, when we came over here, we
Oh, you mean like
by settling and
potential
colonization
spots where we could have dug and found something really spectacular.
Oh yeah, just bulldozed. When I was in South Carolina this summer, I was like getting crazy Native American vibes everywhere I went from like all my spiritual training, and I looked it up and they're like, there's obviously massive colonies. Tribes, not colonies. Tribes that were all around
word
there.
Choice.
That they wouldn't disclose where they were because they were worried about people, you know,
defacing them,
stealing all the artifacts from them. And I was like, man, I don't want to go to Fuddruckers. I don't want to go to the fucking Dinosaur Cafe. That's a lie. I sort of do. But it was like you are in the cotton candy sphincter of novelty, right? When you go to fucking... Lucas, where did we go?
Rainforest Cafe?
And when we went to South Carolina. It's not Charleston. We went to
Myrtle Beach.
Myrtle Beach. Like arguably the butthole of most of America.
It's the Redneck Riviera.
Redneck Riviera, right?
Redneck Riviera.
Everything is covered in like a thick veneer of please spend more money, and you're like, okay.
So yeah, this is where the Hello Kitty Punisher comes in. And like,
let's recap.
We've got a pink one and we've got a black one. So whatever suits your gender.
There's a henna booth for $30 per henna tattoo every 8 feet. Anyways, I just wanted to see some cool shit, but it's demolished. It got
Not
borked
there.
into the sun.
Unfortunately. Yeah, I think the need to market and sell and produce just wrecks almost every industry. I mean, I guess it turns it into an industry. It wrecks every sort of... I feel like something is pure as a concept, and then when you try and commodify it, you wreck its spirit. You like remove the spirit from it.
I know. I'm always thinking, I'm like, well, that's how entrepreneurs are, right? Like, I come from people who owned restaurants, and you need to survive, get every penny out of every level of your business.
Yeah.
And it gets to a point where you need to survive and pay your people, and then maybe you can't be there. And I'm like, but there's got to be a way around it to not go to tip the scales and go into just fart land of, oh, it's 40 cents for this.
Like, how do you sell something with a soul? And like, is it just by saying like, pay what you want? Like, that's not a good business model. I think we have to go to
Japan. I think Japan has kept like tradition alive. But they also have people who really enjoy what they do and aren't trying to not work anymore. You know, like they kind of interweave their working life with their identity. And that's what you do. You don't like try to become a billionaire and get on TikTok or whatever.
Yeah, I think the other side of that coin, it seems like they have a strong like de-emphasis on the self or like individual success. It's like you're sort of a vessel for whatever tradition you're like studying super hard. Like you got to keep that tradition alive. But the other side of that coin is that don't they have a very high suicide rate?
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know if they do anymore, but probably.
I remember years and years ago that they did, but hopefully they've made some progress in that way.
Sure, right? Because I could see like
the working
Chinese culture, right? Like there's a big group of them who demand democracy.
Yeah.
Right? And they want freedom. They want to look at something as simple as a different website, you know? And China's like, no, in order to raise all ships, we must, you know, and you're like, okay, there's a lot of suffering because of that. And I'm sure it's the same way in Japan, like just soulless money culture.
Yeah. I mean, what was commerce like before the West forced their way into Japan? You know? Because we forced them to open up in like the mid 1800s.
That was a cool story. Like the first thing that we dropped off was rum. And they liked it. They loved it. Yeah.
Because our colonies and shit is all sugar cane.
We're like, hey, y'all ever tried some rum?
Fuck up some rum though. And it's wild because prior to our meddling, they were like a blanket like Buddhist nation, and it was illegal to like eat meat in public. And the emperor was like, I'm gonna eat some meat, and that was the end.
We should do an episode on Japan, because I also remember that they discovered that they had the printing press like 100 years before we did.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
And they weren't printing the Bible.
I was talking about Graham Hancock. We got off topic.
Oh yeah.
Shit. Oh, but he was talking about there's evidence of an apocalypse, right? Hence the name Ancient Apocalypse. And it wiped out everything. They think that a part of a comet, which created a valley in western Washington, completely started climate change on portions of continents. It didn't go all the way around, but it shifted things. And they were talking about whoever survived went. So there was, because in every culture there's these bearded dudes that come from the sea and help them learn about astrology and stuff too. And Graham Hancock and his fellow cohorts are like, it's possible that there are certain people that could have survived, you know, given whatever, and then go to the hunter-gatherer tribes, because they're like, we live among hunter-gatherer tribes right now. There's tribes here and there, you know, all over the place. you can have multiple, but in
different levels of advancement in civilization.
Yeah, and when we look back, we're like, nope, everybody was on this upward trajectory. And it's like, there's so much evidence against that.
Yeah. It's just that their way of life was not conducive to sharing land with like the agricultural way of life. Because it was like, no, you can't fucking hunt and gather here. These are my crops.
Yeah. And then he hypothesizes, I'm going to spoil it for you, but that all of the, all the pyramids, all of the Serpent Mound are all obsessed with the alignment of the stars because they vary 1 or 2 degrees. I mean, it's like eerie how accurately these were built because of the comet that hit. They were like, yo, you got to start tracking this shit. It was a devastating blow to Earth.
So are you saying that they allege the planets to have been aligned when the comet hit?
You can track calendars via looking at the stars.
Oh, yes.
So they're like, the last time all of these constellations were like this, we got hit. And so they're surmising that everything points to a certain time in the sky of like the last apocalypse, and they're like, pay attention.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense.
And then can you count how long ago that was?
Yeah, it was like 12,800 years ago, and yes, it's coming up. I don't know if it's this generation. It might be a couple generations from now.
That's pretty spot on. That's pretty close.
Yeah.
And there's also the super volcano under Yosemite or Yellowstone that could explode at any moment. Isn't there like a bunch of doomsday things that we're like right on the edge of?
Bring it on.
What else can we do except welcome it? You can't resist.
Eat goodies and drink and
eat trash and die young.
Eat trash and die young. Remember that.
It makes me think about raccoons and opossums. Yeah, I gotta watch that show. I figured that he would postulate, something similar to. I mean, I didn't know that there was this other cataclysmic event.
Young Dranus or something is what it's called.
So like a comet tail?
And that Earth will travel through every 12,000. It's like a massive meteor shard land.
That's awesome. What about Planet X? Do they ever think about that?
What's Planet X? Welcome to Regurgitation Station.
It's like Planet X is like this theory that there's a planet where the Anunnaki or whoever, visited us comes from, and they like went back there, but now we can't find it. And I don't know what the source material is for that.
They're going to come back and make us their slaves. We're so lazy.
Us? We invented microphones.
Yeah, not out of pressure, but out of passion. I don't know actually when the microphone was invented.
Yeah, somebody drop a comment below, when was the microphone invented?
Okay, this is a great segue into my first topic. Okay, Ruby and I, there was a period for like 2 weeks where she was refusing to go to bed. I mean, it was just like, no, you go to bed. And I was like, I gotta lure her in here somehow, and I had to do it with my phone because it was, she's an insane person. You've met her. She's not just like a push him over, kick him over toddler. She's like a president. I don't know.
She's the president of nations.
And so we started watching. Do you ever go on Snapchat?
Yeah, just to look at the filters, like play with the filters.
Okay, there's a discovery page, so it's like TikTok, I'm guessing, right? And she has got us on the ASMR.
Oh Lord.
Mukbang. Shit. And I've always like seen little clips, oh that's funny, or I've seen that you eating on Instagram always like
people love that shit.
People love when you eat shit. I didn't fucking know that it is a like what I would call reality porn, because there are all these women who have lip fillers and have a lot of makeup on, and then they have like the contacts that make their pupils bigger. They've got the fake lashes. I mean, like, I'm peering into something I don't ever see, right? It's very strange.
What are they eating?
Okay, so there's this one chick, and I screen capped it so I could talk about it on here, and you could post it on the MAWPOD.
Screen cap.
There's this one, and Ruby really likes her. I don't know. I'm guessing because she has the biggest eyes and the fattest fake lips and whatever. No judgment. Fuck it up, right?
Yeah, do whatever you want.
Fuck it
It's
up.
yours.
It's yours.
It's yours.
But she, they've got long nails so they can tap on stuff. And then she'll do like, I found out what this is called. Tutting.
Oh,
Tutting.
You like do it to horses and stuff, right?
So she'll like do this when she's like, putting eyeshadow on her finger. She's like, she'll put like her own sounds, which is, I'm guessing, is why she skyrocketed to the top. But she eats like sushi, and I see people eat honeycombs. And I don't know if you've ever had honeycomb. It's disgusting. It's like really waxy.
There's
And
like little
like,
pieces of bee leg in it.
Yeah, and people are like, that looks so good. I'm like, it's a fucking bee. Never mind.
Yeah. Still, you do you, but that's gross.
She's got one where it's a baked Japanese sweet potato, right? And this
Love
is the part that I think is porn. It's pornographic, and it's what gets hits because we all want to be tapped into something that is so far removed from intimacy, but still checks off the fucking box.
Get your rocks
It's
off.
just like a big dong, and she's just eating this fucking Japanese sweet potato.
It's like long and cylindrical.
Yeah, and then all these ASMR fucking porno freaks are like trying to. I'm like, they're all choking on whatever you want to call it.
A digital kach.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
A penis.
And
Dong-like.
it reminds me why I live under such a big rock. Why I appreciate the rock, the weight of the rock, how big the rock is, and how nice it and dark it is down here.
She'll stand by her rock.
So I gotta like wean us off of this because it is relaxing, right, to listen to sounds. But on the other flip side of the coin, I'm like, this is a side of femininity that I don't think we should be giving attention to.
Do you think that there's like dudes who do that?
There's some dudes who do it, and I like theirs a little bit more. There's like this Asian guy who's like pierced and got a bunch of tattoos, and he wears black gloves. There's like a little bit, whereas like all the girls, it's just like straight fucking weird porn shit. Shocking, right?
That sucks.
And then there's a black guy who is like beat up, has like fake beat up makeup on,
yeah,
and is like eating, and he has gold teeth. I like that one more too. It's just more interesting, more dynamic than just like some chick with her tits out talking about how big the pickle is.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that like a lot of internet users like the qualities that you described.
What is it about the internet that is so humanly toe jammy?
It's like, I don't know, I feel like everybody wants to have sex and not everyone can, and the internet is a free tool to peer into literally any kind of reality that you wish to peer into.
So it's inherently toe jam. It's like,
are we inherently toe jammy?
You and me?
No, I mean like
just humans,
our race of humans.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, everybody wants to nut.
Everybody wants to nut. Everybody wants to bust a nut.
Everybody wants to bust a nut. Everybody wants to nut. And yeah, it's weird when you're like cruising an app and you see like a falsely voluptuified person choking on a sweet potato.
You want to see what's up,
but I'll fight for her right to do that. She's gotta do whatever she wants to do.
Like I said, don't care. But I do want to speculate. Because I don't know. And these people aren't getting paid anything. They're probably getting sent free shit, which is enough to do it.
Yeah. What does Snapchat do? You get like,
I don't know. You get free mascara for life.
Free
fuck if I
filters.
You get more HEB filters.
That is weird though. Why would you spend your whole time in life making something that weird. I feel like I went full circle back to like commodifying something that you produce. Like, you can't just do it for nothing.
I want to get something to eat, something. Everybody wants something for nothing. I think it's the moral of the story.
No resistance.
No resistance.
Struggle.
No struggle. Just eat your people eat the weirdest shit. They dip their fried chicken, like this one chick, definitely from Russia or something, like, crazy, just plastered eyes. And they're alien
like anime eyes?
Yeah, they're just strange. The things that they've done to have a ring light on their face in 4K.
Like, oh, I'm going to eat this now.
She was eating chocolate pliers.
Chocolate pliers?
Yeah, like real looking tools.
Have you seen that lady who eats deodorants? Like, she like twists up it's like the powdery stick kind.
No, I haven't.
And she like twists it up and just like chomps off the deodorant. And that's her ASMR video. Like, what? That's not even something you should be eating. That's like,
what does your poop look like when you do that? And how often do you have to go to urgent care?
We have a lot of questions.
I have
about your
questions.
consumption.
Do you have answers?
Do you have to brush your teeth if you use deodorant?
What was your relationship with your mother like?
Did she feed you deodorant?
Did anybody feed you? I'll feed you.
It makes me sad to think about.
I know.
I hope she's happy.
Look, we just hope you're happy doing what you're doing.
We just want you to be happy and not harm yourself or anyone else. The Wiccan read.
You get a little taste into. Did you ever see Surrogate with Bruce Willis, where everybody has a fake robot body? And they plug into it. You gotta watch that shit. I haven't seen it in a long time, but
dude, I heard Bruce Willis was sick and he can't act anymore.
Oh no! I mean, he's old. He's getting older.
I guess, but I was just thinking of him in Fifth Element.
R.I.P.
Like,
Bruce Willis.
Not Corbin Dallas. Corbin. That movie pops up in my head so much. Like, it's a bomb. Ruby Rod.
I love everything about. That's what I want to bring into like our creative realm. Is more Pee-wee meets 90s sci-fi, late 90s sci-fi. Yeah.
Definitely.
There's a zaniness there that's just
it's camp. I think it's the camp because it sort of got washed away in the 90s because it was trying to get progressively more and more real. And like when the campiness of 80s and early 90s sci-fi is like erased by like this striving toward realism, it's like I'm not as entertained.
No,
there's something about like the Stephen King movies where the people are like peeling their faces off that's so much better than like a real gory movie where it's like believable.
I desperately have wanted to make a horror movie because I'm like, none of these scare me, and it's like they're never showing like the monster side of things. I'm like, we're always seeing the person being chased's life. Why aren't we seeing the other side?
Do you think that the audience would empathize with the monster side? I feel like Hollywood, their plots usually like spoon feed you what they want you to come away with, which is like, this is terrifying.
Yeah, and now everybody hates it, and then Netflix took over because people were tired of their garbage.
And now Netflix just shovels the garbage into our...
If Netflix starts doing more investigative kind of hot button pressy stuff like the ancient apocalypse show, that would be sick. Because we lost a lot of investigative journalism. There is nobody pushing the envelope anymore. Everybody sits on a certain side and goes,
yeah, you guys are wrong.
Look at this.
We're right, and we only look at 3 books.
It's like the media. Every channel is owned by 2 companies now. It's like not even. Everything's scripted to a.
Who's outlining our nutritional needs for the day, and do they supply us with 6 to 12 servings of bread per day?
What's at the top? It's sugar. Sugar's at the top. What's after bread?
Bread is at the bottom. I'm thinking of the one they taught us in like middle school.
Yeah. No, me too.
Bread and pasta
it's the agriculture,
is at the bottom.
Yeah.
It's like all the things that have high fructose corn syrup in them are at the bottom where you need the most. And then it's like dairy and cheese and butter and eggs and then there's meat.
It's industry based.
Yeah, and then it's like, throw some fruit in. You can have a couple pieces of fruit, and you know.
That's why milk was being pushed like fucking cocaine in the 90s, because it was just...
Because it was heavily subsidized by the government, and so they had a lot of milk. I recently bought like a real... like a half gallon of whole milk, and it was the first time I'd done it in a while, because I was getting oat milk, because all I do is like eat cereal with it,
right?
And that shit's good. I like the way it tastes. It reminds me of my childhood.
Off the dairy deep end.
Tell us about your journey through November.
I made it, and then I exploded it with fucking peppermint half and half for my coffee. Oh, I got nachos last night for dinner at HEB. They have nachos there, and they're very good.
Do they load them right?
Yes.
Because I'm really specific about how nachos are loaded.
I know you are, and they were loaded right. There was no...
Did you get a reading off of them?
In terms of the esoteric essence of the person who crafted them?
Yeah.
I thought that they didn't want to be at their job anymore, but they were done well. The only thing that it had queso, and when the queso goes cold, the whole thing kind of gets lost a little bit.
Did it get all congealy?
But then it makes for better stabilization of your toppings.
Yeah, all
there
the
were no
nachos
toppings
stuck
left
together. It's one nacho.
Yeah, it was very good.
It sounds really good.
I do feel like it's kind of impeding my sensitivity, though.
Oh, we shouldn't be surprised by that, because she was like, the dude was pouring the milk out. So, I mean, why would a duration of time suffice, you know?
Yeah, and I ate it really... You ever been in Central Market's yogurt section?
Oh, baby.
I got that $5 yogurt.
Oh my God, that's one of my little treats that I'll do for myself.
It's a dessert.
It's like, I'm gonna buy this really sexy little French yogurt.
Oh, there's this, it's like a company from New York, and they've got passion fruit or guava or coconut cream pie. And I ate it, and I immediately got so tired after eating it. I was like, this is most likely some sort of allergen. I like how he smashed his head.
I was burping.
On the glass right when you burped. Right when you burped.
Well, the cool thing about the time period we live in is that there's an abundance of different things to choose from, you know? Substitutes is the word I'm looking for. There's an abundance of substitutes.
They've nailed down vegan cheese, but everything else can suck it. They still haven't nailed down creamer. Starbucks has nailed down nut creamer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's it. That is the only company. I'm so tired of spending any of my money on anything else, because the rest of it just tastes like ground up nuts in my coffee, and I don't like that.
Yeah, there needs to be an actual creaminess, like an unctuousness that you would get from fat.
Yes, and the billionaire scientists at Starbucks Labs figured it out.
I hope they're billionaire scientists. Their scientists are probably just like shackled to a table, and they're like, come up with the next Christmas cup for the next 14 years.
Dude, I was watching a Starbucks commercial on a YouTube video, and I was like, they fucking figured it out.
They're a hyper mega ultra overlord of marketing.
Yeah, they get Christmas in a cup, you know, and you're like, this is all that people want. They want a choo-choo little 2,000 calorie fucking Christmas goodie.
Yep.
We're babies. We want a little goodie.
We want it sweet. We want it
sweet and a
to
colorful.
Be and taste it. Little chocolate.
Sprinkles.
Little sprinkle on top.
Did I ever tell you the time I was at Sturgis, at the Starbucks in Sturgis?
With all the motorcycle, like Harley dudes?
Yeah, I was there super early, and there were two like full-blown Sturgis dudes in the front. And
do they have ape hangers?
I'm sure they had like I didn't know what bike they were on. I could see them by what they were wearing, just like torn denim vests and whatnot. And I order after them. I'm waiting for my
at Starbucks.
Yes,
got it.
I just got like a iced latte or some shit, and then she goes, John, no one's in there. She's screaming. He's like, he raises his hand. She's like, do you want sprinkles on your strawberry frappa wigwam? And he's like, yeah. It was like the most amazing moment because she just fucking spelled it out for everybody what he got. It's no secret. And he got a little pink drink and there were sprinkles on it and whipped cream and frosting. And
that's 2022 for you. Each of us is just flexing in every direction because we're breaking the mold, you know? He can have tattered jeans and also enjoy sprinkles. It's the beauty of the versatility of being a person.
The versatility of being
Let's
a person.
enjoy the versatility of being a person. Kick my dog in the head. Goddamn, I'm gonna kick my dog. Kick my dog in the head. Hey! We weren't gonna kick you in the head.
Yeah, I'll do that when Megan leaves.
Ah!
Monty and I used to go. He was like, you need to go to Inquiry, which was at this Zen center. It's like this cute little house.
Oh, nice.
I'd be the youngest person there by like 20 years. And I found out the guy that would speak, prolific Zen teacher. I was always like, wow. Found out he's like globally known. And here I was sitting in a small house listening to him speak. I got way into that for a second. Then Monty and I had a falling out, so I stopped going. But
Oh, man.
I've always wondered, I'm like, man, it would be so nice to go back and I guess face a falling out in this. But
It's interesting to think that you have to, I mean, you don't have to, you can have an individual practice, but everything that I've read regarding Zen is like the Sangha is as important as your individual practice. You need to be part of a community so that they can support, your development in the right direction. And I don't know, I like staying home. Staying home is the best. It's where I have my tea and my cat and my incense. I mean, I do get charged up when I go and be with people, obviously. But as far as needing that to have a spiritual practice, I get a little frustrated.
I thought about yesterday quitting everything and becoming a fucking priest or something. Like just, I looked into that back before I enrolled to do psychedelic therapy.
Yeah.
And it's expensive to become.
What sort of priest would you be?
So,
like in what tradition?
A minister. I wanted to be, oh no, this is where I need Lucas to sit in the corner and tell me what it is. Hospitals, when people have emergencies or people die, they call in the something.
I don't know. Priest is one word. The Mordecai? Adjacent.
I wanted to
priest.
become that person.
The in-house counsel.
And you need to be recognized in a certain amount of credits and have to do a lot of, it's not a specific branch of religion.
Oh, it's like a not secular sort of,
because you can be one in the military too, and I thought that would be really cool. I thought about devoting my life to ministry, whether it be Zen or,
yeah.
And I was like, that's plan B because I really want to do that. But right now we'll just stick with motorcycle shit.
Yeah, well, what you're doing on your YouTube channel is similar to spreading the gospel.
Chaplain.
Chaplain.
I wanted to become a chaplain.
That's the word. You had to leave your brain window open and let it fly in.
I'm worried at how often I reach for a word and it's not there, and I'm like, I'm only 33.
Yeah, but you found it.
I did find it. I had to ask, but I found it. Anyways, back to your topic. You struggle having a spiritual practice. But
Well, that's
also,
just the thing. I don't feel like I'm struggling. I feel like the struggle would come when I try to incorporate a community.
Oh. I know, because it's so hard. Oh, I've never told you this before. It's a great time to tell you this. every Sunday I'm like, I think about the comedians who've recently moved to Austin because they left LA, like Duncan Trussell. There's other people that aren't comedians, but people I would like to hear speak that moved here from LA. And I've thought about how sick it would be to have a stand-up, like stand-up room vibe, right? Like a comedy club vibe, but it's church.
Huh.
And it's like, it's a community of people that you really like. You have funny people come there. You have prolific people come there and speak. You meet up every week on Sundays and you talk about, I was trying to think, okay, so like people go to church to like feel connected and feel like there's people surrounding them for help. So it's like, well, why can't I make that for people that I know?
You absolutely can.
I've thought about that.
And it usually centers around food. That's the easiest way to get people to come together.
Donuts, drip coffee.
Yeah. It sounds like you want to make your own Alcoholics Anonymous, but not have alcoholism.
But for church,
impetus.
But it's not religious. It's bring all religion, whatever you want.
Sort of like a non-denominational worship service.
Yeah, but we're worshiping each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Patent pending.
It's at Let's Eat Austin. We should just do it there.
Yeah. Suggested donation is
$40 a person.
I was going to say 3 farts and a shart.
Oh, okay. 3 farts and a shart.
Keep it in your pants. Yeah, I would go to that. I feel like that is what I do when I go to you.
Yeah.
You have that kind of like investigative and nourishing. That's your impulse.
Thank you. I would like to do more for my community though. I don't know, and something that isn't just a can drive or something like that.
Yeah. Well, I think if people don't already know you, like if I go back to my not wanting to leave my apartment thing, I don't know that if I saw like, come to this, there'll be donuts and coffee and we'll just heal each other. I'm like, well, I don't know about all that.
That's why I think it'd have to be a really prolific, cool space that you'd want to be in.
Yeah.
And maybe a shuttle service.
The meeting point.
We pick you up on a motorcycle.
Whoa.
I don't know.
I like the idea at its most basic. I think it's definitely doable. And I'll make the snacks.
Okay. Pimento cheese bong. Pimento cheese bong.
Take a rip of our pimento cheese bong. It will soothe all of your worries and anxieties.
It is the salve for your soul.
It's got 2 kinds of cheese. Yeah, but I hella admire you for your healing role and all the different ways you're trying to see how it will take form. Because like you mentioned your psychedelic school, because I know you are interested in being like a death doula, and then the chaplain is just another version of that.
I know, they just came out with death doula certifications and it's like $3,000 and I'm like,
dude, we can get this woman $3,000, don't you think? Like, can't we just get her that money and then we'll follow her journey through death doula certification?
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know that those are a thing. And I'm like,
let's fucking go.
And part of the certification is finding a dying person that will let you sit with them. And I'm like, man, if you woke up and that's what you had to do, I would love that. That is a life I would love to live.
That is true passion. That's your whole self involved in what you're doing. Mm-hmm. There's no distracted death doulas. Or there shouldn't be, because that's a really important job.
I'll bring Murphy and he'll just like unplug all your shit on accident.
Well, he'll need infinite love from you, and which sometimes feels good to give.
Hello, Yusuf. I love you.
But I think also your spiritual journey is also a sort of healing that you're attempting for yourself, but also for the spirits that you're trying to communicate with.
Yeah.
Are you trying to like free people from their afterlife bondage?
Dude, I got a ping from Aaron Carter.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Fill us
first
in
things first.
on...
Aaron Carter died.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I was like, how'd you get a ping from him?
Okay, first things first, he's dead.
Oh my God.
Um,
How did he pass?
I don't know, actually. I don't.
Whoa.
I don't know shit. What does it say?
Aaron Carter cremated. Death certificate reveals.
I'm guessing overdose or something.
It just says about his death certificate. It says he was cremated. Jeez. Rest in peace. 34?
Yeah,
years
and you see
old?
pictures of him. He wasn't doing okay. I don't know. I had family dinner the other Sunday, and somebody was talking about him, and I got a fucking ping, like my death people ringing out ping, and I didn't anticipate to get that from Aaron Carter.
Wow.
And it was absolute misery. Ooh.
That's so sad.
Chaotic pain was like the tendril I got.
Do you think that is the result of how he passed away?
If we could find out how.
Okay. I will type the right words in. Well, it's just speculation. It just says his cause of death could have been due to a drug overdose, considering his checkered history with substance abuse.
Lucas, do you know how Aaron Carter died?
CIA.
Oh shit.
It was an inside job? The eagle has landed.
The popsicle has been tossed.
The ketchup popsicle has been served to the lady in the white gloves.
The short lord has arrived in his shorts.
Don't throw away the goldfish. No.
That thing has been bouncing around my kitchen for long enough to drive me insane.
It's
I
pretty.
always take it out of the kitchen, and it always ends up.
Dude, you need a fish tank.
I know. I've thought about that.
That'd be so
Ruby would love
cool. Yeah, you could put little lights and like plants and stuff in it. I think that'd be awesome.
that. I don't like being reminded that an animal can be trapped. I mean, I see that with my dogs, but at least they have a great life. But with a goldfish, I'm like, do you want to be in there? I can't get over
you
that.
make it big enough, they won't even know they're in a trap.
Same with us.
Right? We all have to live in little boxes. And jobs.
You know, speaking of ghosts, last night was 0 out of 10 in terms of my sleep.
No.
And Ruby was just coughing maybe every 15-30 seconds. Like, it was bad. And eventually she like passes out, and I go get the Booger Sucker, and I just jam it in her nose, start sucking out the boogers, because it's like she's snoring, can't breathe. But I saw some shit in, like, you know, in my teachings, you see a lot of stuff in your periphery because you're not looking at it.
Right.
And a lot of people dismiss stuff that they see in their own periphery.
It's like,
because they're
just
like,
a light refraction, just a mote of dust on my eye.
and it's like, no, it's you not focusing, and then you're able to see some of that. And I was like sitting on the toilet last night in the steamy shower, and I like popped open my eyes. I was like, oh my God, there's something right there. No idea what it was, and I feel like I couldn't tune into it because of my cheese.
Dang, man. Do you think also your sleep deprivation might affect
Yeah, I'm
it as
sure
well?
that was also part of it too.
Are you going to go back off the dairy?
I don't know.
Dang.
Talk to dead people, eat cheese.
It's weird that you have to choose.
I don't think I have to choose. Maybe that's psychological that I'm thinking that. But I don't know. Noticed. But also there's a lot of chaos lately. So I don't know if the tilt of the
You've been
earth-
picking up on a lot of chaos?
Yes. We got a flat tire today. Lucas, what else was chaotic? Oh, we've been to like 3 restaurants lately, and we're watching everyone else get our food. This is the 3rd time it happened at Julie's Noodles. And we're like, hey.
Shout out Julie's Noodles. Where's that?
You've never been to Julie's Noodles? Oh,
I don't think so.
Bitch.
What the
It's a
world?
dumpling place by Dinho. It's next to Dinho.
Oh, okay. I never go up there.
Yeah.
What happened to your food at Julie's Noodles?
There's no ticket. Same thing happened when we went to breakfast at Proud Mary to South Austin. They're like, sorry, there was no ticket. I'm like, who's shit is getting
who's
so
messing
annoying.
with y'all?
I don't know. Battery died in the white truck, got a flat tire, and it all just kind of happens in a very short amount of time.
You're being assailed.
I know, but by what? Brother?
I don't know. You try and look under the fucking blanket of the unknown, then the unknown is going to come out and grab you grab your battery power.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think there could be a correlation between your investigation into the paranormal?
This has happened before, and I remember reaching out to my Aunt Teresa, and she sent me back the Trickster. Have you heard? Like, because I remember, once again, Chaos Vortex. I'm driving home from Georgetown in a fucking semi that had its blinkers on that was like pulled over on the shoulder.
The hazard lights?
And there was no one else on the road. Gets in front of me. And I almost die. And I'm laughing, being like, this is some other presence that I don't understand, because there's no way that...
Why is it trying to fuck with you?
I forget the connection I made, but I made it and it went away for a little bit. So I've got some other connection I got to make and see that this chaos is shut. Because I don't feel chaotic. I feel like I've found an equilibrium as of recently with my inner reality. So it doesn't correlate with that.
That's beautiful, though. I mean, it makes you more solid when the attacks come on. I watched this really stupid show. I want to say that some parts of it may have been real, but the way that it was recorded and like the people that were involved, it was called 28 Days Haunted.
Okay.
And it was basically just like these historically really haunted places.
Sure.
Where like a paranormal investigation team and a medium, somebody who typically spends time trying to communicate with the other side, like goes and... Do you remember Ed and Lorraine Warren?
Yes.
They discovered this theory that a 28-day cycle like makes the spirits more, I don't know, uppity or active. Like if you spend 28 days in a haunted place, you'll like see way more stuff than
one ghost menstrual cycle.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so yeah, the show was like these 3 different locations with these 3 different teams, and there were these mediums. They were both female, and I thought that was interesting. And the other parts of their teams were male, and the males were like, we want you to get in this coffin and tell us what you see, because we think it's connected with the ghosts that are tied to this location. And there were certain things that the women were like, no, I'm not doing that. There's no way, because they wanted them to like scry using a mirror. And
I've wanted to learn how to do that.
The lady was like, you don't understand what that is. When you gaze into a portal and invite whatever is hanging out there, it comes out and it gets attached to you, and I can't take that home to my kids. So it made me wonder, like, what if it's dangerous?
Yes. Sarah, that was like early on in our classes.
Yeah. Was
to eliminate fear, because ghosts always listen to you saying no, as long as you talk to them.
I guess there's a slight difference, because these people believed in like demonic presence,
right? And also she says if you go into a space and start disrupting shit and start pissing them off, that's something
and that's
completely
exactly
different.
What these people were attempting to do. It's like, let's see what will make them the most active, let's fucking fuck with their shit, let's make them as pissed off as we can. Yeah,
so Sarah's like really against that sort of stuff, because then it's like something completely different, versus when you talk about when you're activating that skill set, things start seeking you out,
because they really want to talk,
because they desperately want someone to hear them. So that's what I do. And then who knows,
sort of like a gentle coaxing, not like,
I'm not even talking to anybody, I'm just, and she does the same thing. It's like,
are
listen. They there? You don't. She's like, I can't bring things. She's like, if they're not there, they don't want to be reached. So I can't talk to your dead Aunt Griselda, because
there's no
gone.
Summoning.
She doesn't summon. No. Which I really like that idea too. I'm like, I don't want to summon anybody.
Yeah, I think I'd only ever want a willing.
Yeah. Participant.
I'd hate to think of someone coming against their will. Then they'd be pissed off.
I'm busy.
The fuck do you
in
want?
the infinite gear of infinity.
It's interesting though, because it seems like developing that sort of talent or that sort of awareness would follow like a specific desire to accomplish some specific thing. Like, do you know what that is for you?
Say that again.
What is your goal by developing your mediumship?
Just to listen. I think it was really cool to I've been getting transmission. I got a transmission recently for Erica. I think it's really cool that there are things coming to me when someone else is not listening to them. You know, Lucas.
Because they know you're a listener.
Yeah. I like doing that for people. It also teaches me a lot about myself and what should be said and what shouldn't be said and what is known and what isn't known. And I like the idea of just bridging that fucking gap between the living and the dead. I think there's so much knowledge on the other side and we've lost connection in so many different ways. So to be
so gassy.
Dude, he is just next level.
So what was the last experience you had? The Aaron Carter thing?
Yeah. And then last night when I was seeing some shit just like thump, and I'm like, hey. So
and it doesn't make you feel uncomfortable. It is like a general like just like awareness that something is ding dang dong.
Somebody very close in my family has tragically passed away, and I was speaking with the family member who their lost loved one. I was speaking with the living one. There's a way easier way to say that.
The bereaved?
Yes. And he started coming in like a fucking freight train, and I didn't know what to do.
The deceased
started coming in, and when you're talking to the bereaved, you're like, is this inappropriate? Should I not say anything?
You're like getting pinged and like trying to have a conversation with her.
He was hitting me over the head with a fucking table, man. Whoa. And I was like, I couldn't hold. So Ruby wanted to go swing outside. So we go outside, and there's 400 grackles in the one tree.
Oh shit.
And the bereaved says, did you just walk into a room full of guinea pigs? What is going on? And I was like, he's here. I don't know what else to say. Like, I was because I'm getting swooped into this other realm and also trying to have a conversation. And so I got, after the phone call, she was totally cool with me, like
giving that insight.
I was like, sick. It was so, the last time somebody came in that clear, that effortlessly, that strong, that intense was my dad.
Wow. Well, this guy's technically in your family too.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. What I think makes him so much easier to talk to than my dad was he was a deeply spiritual person.
Oh.
Where my dad on the other side, I was like, I can't hear you. You're so mad. Or you're so sad. I don't understand. I'm just getting like these really strong emotions, but I don't know what you're trying to say. And then I could feel my dad get frustrated and then disappear. And then I'm like, oh, well, come back.
These are like tools that you can sharpen.
Yes. And so the deceased asked me to get my Christian stuff out.
Huh.
So I had to dig out my stuff for like the rosary.
That was his chosen expression of spirituality.
And holy shit, just came in and it was nuts.
Did he give you scriptures to look at?
No. He just had messages. Well, it was like kind of all over the place. And I felt bad because a lot of it was the stuff that I had talked about with the bereaved. But there's shared energy there, you know, and it's like the things we talk about are the validating connections that you kind of need on the quantum side of things to like, I don't know, get it all jazzed up. And then the other night too, I'm playing with Ruby and Lucas comes in and goes, did the deceased knock on your brain's door? And I was like, no, but he was getting pinged from him.
Oh, his door's open now too.
Well, and he was like, he needs you, Whitney. And I was like, shit, I don't feel anything. And I'm not I didn't get a message. So that was really crazy.
That's cool that you've got a partner in open headedness, open spiritual earedness.
Well, when I told Lucas about his guides, he was just like, I can hear him. I'm like, whoa. I had to like pay lots of money and take classes every week to like.
It's just as easy as opening a little window.
Sometimes that's all that it takes, though. It's like, hey, you're not gonna hear it. You're not gonna see it. It's like, it's the other realm. It's the thoughts that you dismiss.
I think about it a lot, and I wonder, like, how do I tell the difference between like my anxious self speaking to me and like someone else speaking to me? Well, it just sounds different or like feels different.
I think the first time you do it, you'll know from there on out. And it takes time. Like with Erica's guides coming in, I was like raking, and she had texted me this thing, and I just kept having this repetitive thought to the point of like it was annoying me. And I was like, oh, is this a transmission? Because I'm like, I thought I was just ruminating, and it wasn't a rumination. It was the second I made the connection that it was a transmission, the whole back of my scalp will get funny feeling, and it'll like go down my shoulders.
Like your hair's raised, or you got goosebumps, sort of.
But it's like a tingliness in like the back of my head.
Yeah.
That's like the sign I get, where I'm like, whoa. And then texting is my thing because it's physical and I'm communicating. Other people draw. There's like, I don't know if you've seen Hollywood Medium. He's really talented. He's like a younger guy who's been able to do this since he was a kid, and he scribbles. A lot of people scribble. Like, you need that physical aspect to kind of like turn this part of your brain off and turn this other part of your brain on. So
you're like engaged in this way, and you can kind of get loose and get in the zone.
And that never worked for me. It did when you and I were vibing when I was at the brewery and we were texting about that song and shit coming on. I later made the connection that chick, that ancestor entity, was trying to warn me about Erica. Or it was like because Erica had that traumatic birth like a day later.
Whoa, for real?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Because I told Sarah about that, and I was like, Sarah, I don't know if this is like, there's a Masonic cemetery, and she's like, there's never anything. She's like, cemeteries, there's people visiting other people's, but nobody hangs around their dead body.
That makes a lot of sense.
She's like, if you're looking for somebody, there'll be ghosts in
I wonder if they go back to see if they've been left any treats or anything, you know? It'd be a bummer if that's where you go to visit your loved one and they're never there.
Yeah. They're, on the Ferris wheel in Miami or some shit.
I hope so. Give me some boardwalk fries.
Shit, what were we just saying?
The woman presence that you experienced
Sarah was
at the
like,
brewery.
No, she's like ancestor. She's like something is trying to tell you from your bloodline. I was like, oh, cool.
The baby looks great.
Baby doesn't fit in preemie clothes.
Yay!
Baby's not a preemie.
Baby.
That is my preemie nephew is chunky.
He's beautiful. So excited to meet him.
This is fucked up, but I get dad vibes because my dad died on a breathing apparatus.
Oh.
And he was born on one.
Wow.
There was a miscommunication. Apparently he was going to have some sort of eye thing happen, but then the eye doctor came and was like, no. And I was like, my dad had a lot of eye issues.
Wow.
Every time I see my dad on the other side, he doesn't have eyes. I don't know why.
I've told you that I saw my dad like that before too, right?
No eyes. He still doesn't have them.
Mine eventually got his.
Maybe it's something you earn.
Yeah, maybe there's like a period of transition
where they rip your eyes out and they're like, isn't that you know more about Greek philosophy than I do. Isn't that a thing? Like somebody takes somebody's eyes out.
Well, when you cross the river Styx, like the burial ritual for those types of, I guess, Greeks was to put 2 coins over the eyes. So that's like your fare for the boatman, so you can get into the underworld. But as far as like eye removal, I mean, when you're embalming someone, you take out their real eyes. And I think you put in glass ones if you go that far.
Who are the 3 Greek like witches on the other side who sew together something? They like sew together. There's so many.
Yeah, like Greek mythology is abundant.
I got a fucking deity reading off Etsy, and
wait,
they were like Greek. Look at this shit.
Deity reading off Etsy.
I was just real curious. I don't know if you want to. You can read it out loud.
Whoa. Okay. Thank you so much for ordering. I'm so sorry about
the delay. It was like $8 or some shit.
I just wanted to make sure it made its way to you. Smiley face. Demeter connects to you in this reading. She is the Greek goddess of harvest and agriculture, as well as all growing things and fertility. Her close connection to the earth was inherited from her mother Rhea. She also embodies life and death as a cycle. She was portrayed as a woman sitting in a chariot being pulled by winged serpents. Demeter is most notably the mother of Persephone. She searched endlessly for her daughter and was assisted with Hecate. When Persephone was abducted by Hades, she held the harvest back in her grief. Demeter. She threatened to make the earth barren and to wipe out humans if her daughter was not returned. Symbols: wheat, pigs, cornucopia, winged serpents, torch. Sacred animals: serpents, pigs, turtle doves, geckos and owls. Sacred plants: wheat, barley, pennyroyal.
What's that?
Pennyroyal is what you make tea out of to have an abortion.
Ooh!
There's a Nirvana song called Pennyroyal Tea. Poppy, which is also an opiate. Sunflowers, incense, floral, vanilla, frankincense, myrrh. Stones: garnet, citrine, topaz, almandine. Offerings: baked goods, wine, wildflowers, cheese, honey, shed snakeskin, dove feathers, pomegranate, any plant that you've grown yourself. You are someone who has strong pre-scenes connected to you. From the Greek pantheon, the god Asclepius was also very present in this reading. Asclepius, was that the medical dude?
I don't know.
He's not a very well-known figure as some, but he is the son of Apollo. He learned healing from the centaur Charon and from snakes whispering the use of herbs. He was so powerful in his skills that Zeus was afraid that he would stop death itself. Yeah, Asclepius was like a healthcare god. Zeus was afraid that he would stop death itself, so he smote him with a lightning bolt. Asclepius didn't pass me a message at this time. I've had that happen to me in other readings, that their message and guidance might be one that is very personal in nature, like healing from a trauma or an injustice. Asclepius is trying to heal your trauma or injustice. Demeter indicates she is walking beside you during your tower moment, that you are going through a time difficulty. This might be in your mundane life or spiritually, that the chaos, the tide rising, feels like it's too stressful and too much to bear. She gently reminds you that she is here, offering her support and assistance while you feel like the tide is rising around you, that you are not alone in your troubled times. She wants to help you put control back into your hands, to help dust you off and feel like you can better handle the curveballs life is throwing at you. Demeter wants you to connect to your spiritual self during this stressful time. That she will help strengthen your spell work that you use to help heal from these stressors. If you find yourself at a crossroads, however, of just where to focus your learning on your next step when it comes to spell work or magic in this direction, I often recommend reading the Greek magical papyri for those with connections to Hellenistic deities. It is a translated resource from the ancient Greeks, has hymns and rituals and workings that were used, and it can be a strong source to draw from. To connect to Demeter, look towards nature. She gives a particular nudge on her agricultural aspects. Many ingredients you can utilize live right outside your doorstep. Learn their names, their symbolism, even if they're just pests. This will deepen your connection to her, as well as strengthen your understanding of spellwork ingredients. Cheers. That reminds me immediately of your like geomancy bits.
Yeah,
How did you feel about that reading?
I never resonate. I should have known that it was going to be more like that. I didn't know there were so many fucking reading things on Etsy, like people doing readings. I picked one that was like, 8,000 5-star reviews. I was just curious because it was like $8. I'm like, oh, what are you going to say?
Yeah.
I don't resonate at all with any of the Greek
mythology
stuff because it always seems deeply beyond what I'm capable of understanding. But I'm also like down to clown. Like I always want to know. Tell me more. I don't
want
know.
it all.
Like I'm not gonna discredit something just because I don't vibe with it. So, yeah. What do you think? Geomancy bits? I'm always like, yeah, stressful times. It's like everybody's life is stressful or whatever. But
yeah, it did seem like some parts of it were just vague enough to fit whoever.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I had a Greek literature teacher, and the whole year was just studying Greek mythology, and there was like a culminating project at the end where you like choose your favorite god or goddess, and then you like embody them and do a project on them. And I chose Persephone, and I like wore a black toga and like was queen of the underworld. So I mean,
do you want to bring togas back? Because I do.
Yeah. Isn't it just a sheet that you wrap up?
That sounds great.
Hell yeah. But as far as like the relevance to you, the geomancy was the only thing that really stuck out. I think that nature does talk to you. Through farts. I wish we had that mic'd up.
The second that Megan was finishing that sentence, Murphy, who's on her lap, farted.
Oh, nature's talking to us.
Dude.
It's
like if you, I don't know how you make meat into pepperoni, but if you took a cadaver dong and pepperonied it, it would be Murphy's fart. I feel bad for him because he clearly needs something that I cannot give him because it's dog food might be the wrong thing, but
that was vile. We were visited.
I think that was validation that nature does in fact talk to me.
Nature does talk to you, and sometimes it's in farts.
When the deceased was talking to me in the grackles, the sky instantly got black.
Holy shit.
And I was in it because it was so grackle. Have you ever seen grackles swarm any of my trees?
No, never.
Nope, you see them at HEB. They do it there all the time.
They're always in the HEB parking lot right when the sun's going down. It's insane.
You've never seen them swarm a tree in my yard.
Nope.
And so that, and they were all cawing, and it wasn't sunset. And then the sky turned black, and I was like, yeah, no, he's got to talk to you.
Yeah,
he's got to talk to you.
It's a really urgent message. Can you answer the phone?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
I know.
But I feel like that's if I got a message from somewhere out in nature, I feel like I'd be more inclined to trust that because it's like an outward sign instead of me trying to decipher.
Well, but you need to notice it. At least you also you need to use your brain to notice it and then pick up on that. And
yeah. I feel like I would, because like that Zen Buddhist experience with the wheel bug where I was like,
yeah.
Oh, everything's fine. I am already one. Everything is great. But yeah, I think I vibe with nature, and going out in it is like soul polishing.
Yeah, when I started saying hello to the land and the hawk swooped down and the praying mantis flew in my eye, and I was like, whoa! It's not happened since then. You know,
Yeah.
it's just when you vibe with it, it vibes with you.
Definitely. I think that if you, because like your attention is sort of a spotlight, you know, and it'll turn up the volume on whatever you're paying attention to.
Yeah.
And I think that whenever I go outside, I like to sort of, just like a stoner, just like look at the ground and realize that the farther you zoom in to like one tiny piece, like the more life you can find there, and like the more busy little activity that you never would have noticed if you're just walking around stomping on it.
I was thinking about that last night when I accidentally ate something that wasn't like from my plate at the HEB bar. It was just like a strange moment where I'm like, this is why we can't see germs, because if we could actively see them, we'd all lose our minds.
Yeah, that would be, I mean, you can when it's like a very apparent culture, you know, like the pink slime on top of something in the
Right.
fridge, or like I guess mold is easier to see, but like germs are so tiny and they just sneak in, because if they couldn't sneak, then they wouldn't be as successful.
No, and then we'd all be sick and die. You know, we need them.
They're inside of us.
Mimi, I just had a brilliant idea.
Let's hear it, darling.
I was like, okay, I gotta go out and ride this motorcycle before the sun officially sets. But I was like, why don't you come in my video somehow?
I would love to.
Yeah.